The Temple of Hephaistos. One of the best preserved and most typical of all temples, this is textbook Golden Age architecture. Started in 450 BC, it was built at Athens' peak. This temple was a vital part of the massive reconstruction of the Agora after invading Persians destroyed the city in 480 BC. The temple was dedicated to the god Hephaistos, the blacksmith god. Worshippers would enter the temple through the 6 columns here into a covered portico. In medieval times, the temple was converted into a church dedicated to Greece's patron saint, St. George. Those Christians added the coffered ceiling that survives today inside the east end. Even during the years of Muslim occupation, Christian worship continued here, though services were allowed only once each year, on St. George's Day. In more recent times, archaeologists have protected the structure, one of Greece's best Doric buildings. For 2,500 years, as pagan temple, Christian church, and classical icon, the Temple of Hephaistos has been an element of continuity, linking modern Athens with its classical past.
Start strolling down toward the base of the hill.
As you're walking, think of all the famous Athenians who graced the Agora within the space of just 2 or 3 generations. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, spent much of his life simply hanging out right here. He stopped passers-by, asking them probing questions about the meaning of life and urging them to know thyself. Socrates was eventually arrested and charged with corrupting the youth. He was tried and sentenced right here in the Agora. Socrates' disciple, Plato, also spent time teaching in the Agora, as did Plato's disciple, Aristotle. Statue of Hadrian. This is the Roman Emperor Hadrian, who ruled Athens around 120 AD. It shows him wearing the typical Roman military uniform, complete with breastplate and leather skirt.
Keep going until you reach 3 large statues. These giants once guarded the Odeon of Agrippa.
The Odeon of Agrippa. The Odeon of Agrippa was an ancient theater. It was once fronted by a line of 6 colossal statues which functioned as columns. Of these, only 3 survive, along with an empty pedestal. But when the Romans conquered, they built this theater for plays and concerts. It was constructed in the time of Caesar Augustus, around 15 BC. It was a popular place both for the theater-loving Greeks and their Greek culture-loving Roman masters.
After the barbarians came the Christians. On the right is the little church of the Holy Apostles.
Church of the Holy Apostles. This charming little church with a lantern-like dome marks the Agora's revival. It was built around the year 1000, while Athens was under the protection of the Byzantine Empire, ruled from Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. Athens slowly recovered from centuries of invasions and neglect. Like many Christian churches of the period, it was built atop the ruins of a pagan religious site. In ancient times, this had been a nymphaeum, or temple atop a sacred spring. The new church commemorated St. Paul, who taught here in the Agora. By the 18th century, under Turkish rule, the Agora had become a flourishing residential district. Houses and churches stood atop a treasure trove of ancient ruins. Then, in the 1930s, Greece got serious about preserving its classical heritage. They forced everyone out of their houses and businesses and demolished buildings. The Church of the Holy Apostles was the only structure they left standing. Excavation began, and it's continued for the past 8 decades. Looking out from this vantage point, realize that the city of Athens has been continuously inhabited for nearly 3,000 years. It was this city that set the tone for all Western civilization to follow. And the cradle of all that cultural activity was in this small stretch of land where the people of Athens gathered, the Agora. We hope you've enjoyed this tour of the ancient Agora.